Hey everybody, welcome back to question and answer of Wrong End of the Snake. We got Doug Kocius with us still, and we thought of maybe a couple more things to ask him and maybe have a couple of conversations that maybe didn't get into the main part. So Tater, shoot away. What do you got for Doug?
What about the financing options? Like we were just talking about lease and stuff. What are the actual options? A guy like me or a regional or big, what do they go for?
So if we get a transaction from well, let's start with the big guys. If I get an application from a touring company, typically they're looking for someone that's capable of giving a large ticket transaction, and they're checking to see what the rates are like. So let's say my rate structure, it fits, and let's say it's comparable to what their bank will lend, but they've borrowed enough from their bank. They might have a little pushback from their bank. So that organization is going to provide their financial statements, and we're going to spread the numbers and confirm adequate cash flow for this new debt. And so that's one approach. You give the full financial package, the numbers prove your credit worthiness. Quite a few of my customers are regional, whether they're large regional or small 1-2 man shops. And they come to us for a variety of dollar figures. They might come to us for 10 grand. They might come to us for 100 grand. In those transactions, our industry does a really good job at offering a convenient, real simple solution. And that's application only or lending. So we'll lend up to a certain dollar amount without looking at financial statements. There's a credit criteria. So obviously, if you're going to ask for more money, credit's going to be a little tighter as it gets bigger, right? But it's
I know that's one of my favorites is the application only. I just don't like my credit run. It's just easy.
Well, credit still gets run.
Oh, sorry.
Right? We still have to look at the credit, but we're not going to ask you to spread the numbers, right? So if you came to us and said, "Hey, Doug, I need an SD10, and it's $70,000," I'm going to say, "Okay, well, I can do that. We'll fill out the one-page app, send a few months of bank statements. I'm going to pull your credit, and if you hit all the bullet points, you're going to get an answer in a few hours. If you want that console now, you can sign the docs in 10 minutes. So within 4.5 hours, you're done, basically. The deal's in, ready to be in the queue to get funded.
Yeah, Matt Larson's already trying to sell you another one.
The, the perfect example of that is what I think both Tater and I did, which was owning an SD7 along with a bunch of outboard gear that we got an original funding for. But then along the way came, hey, quantum engines. So now those are X amount of dollars. We need to do an upgrade. And rather than going back to our underwriter that you got us with, you said, hey, I have a way to get this quickly. Here's funding. You can get this afternoon. And that's exactly what you did with us. Yeah. So that just goes to show you guys out there that, building a relationship with Doug will help you in the future, even if it's small, like even if you're going after a $10,000 thing with Doug, if you keep doing that with him, you're going to have this relationship. And then pretty soon you're going to find out that his underwriter or his funders will give you $100,000, if that's what you want.
Right. And we firmly believe in the repeat business is our best business. We have my company has a lot of repeat customer activity, and and it really boils down to the convenience. They like the convenience. We keep the costs down, and they can make their decision. They can strike their deal with the funder, knowing that we're here, ready to go. And I think that's sort of an element that separates our industry from the banking industry. There too is. People have that hesitance to call on their banker for a loan because they just feel like maybe they're being sized up. Our industry is like, yeah, knock it out of the park. What I like about the application only product is its ability to give people growth potential. So if you're a smaller regional production, or if you're a front of house guy and your company is just you doing business as you, but you feel like now I'm getting on real tours, I'm going to get my real money. My CPA said I better have a company. That's when you come to us and say, hey, Doug, I need $80,000. I know I can't get the money from the bank, so we'll give you that loan. We'll make that happen, right? You meet the criteria. Then a few years later, you say, I need another $80,000. We have the ability to give you that additional. And after a while, before you know it, you're going to have you can have a couple 100,000 out there and never show a page of your financial statements because you're capable of servicing those debts. You've maintained bank balance levels. You've maintained your personal credit standing. You show pay history on time, and your company ages. Those are what makes it right. So the application-only program that DK Capital offers goes up to 250 grand, which trips me out. That a lender is willing to give $250,000 on one-page credit application
in an afternoon. Here you go. Yeah, I know.
And keep this in mind. That's a large amount of risk.
Right.
Little bit of information. So when we're getting pricing on these things, there's an interesting curve that if it's a real small deal, the pricing can be a little bit higher. And then it gets a little higher, the pricing gets, or the cost of goods goes up, and then we can sharpen our pencil more. But then when you go for that big high dollar, it can turn out to be a little bit more expensive than if you borrowed $100,000.
Right.
Because the $100,000 is a broader comfort level. More funders are comfortable at that level than if you're giving it $250,000. Some people are shaking in their boots, understandably, you know.
Yeah, so the interest will be higher and all of those things when the risk is higher, of course.
When the risk is higher, yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a sweet spot where I think that the application-only product is really affordable. And I'll tell you, I've got several examples of customers that use that service that have grown their businesses to the point where they don't want me anymore.
That does happen, right?
There's a console rental guy in San Francisco who
that is.
When I started, I was young. I think the first deal I did with them was 1994. And I think it was for an XL4, and I can't remember what the other board was, but it's a pretty big deal for me at the time. And this guy's former partner said, we were talking, we became socially friendly at trade shows and whatnot. And he says, so where are you guys honeymooning? Because I got married in 94. I said, I don't know. I wouldn't mind coming out to the Bay Area again. I had been out there when they did AES out there at the Moscone Center, right? And so I said, I wouldn't mind coming out to the Bay Area. And this guy's name was Mark Herman. And he was one of the most important guys in my career. That he's, I owe him a whole lot. And he said, don't worry about it. Come out here. We're going to hook you up. He goes, even better yet, we need a couple consoles. So we got him the money to get a couple consoles. Cammy and I, we were working together at the time. We literally, when we flew out there, we had docs in hand. We flew out, went right to High-Tech Audio, and signed the deal up, stuck it in the FedEx package, sent it back to Michigan, and we carried on with our honeymoon. We booked the deal on our honeymoon.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know why I started that story, but
well, we were just talking about relationships.
So that company grew so much. I mean, that's a fantastic company. And there was a point, we don't need you anymore, Doug. Our baker bangs on our door. We don't need you. And, and that's cool. That's great news, in my opinion.
And to this day, you're still great friends with Lewis.
Totally great friends with him, I hate him because he doesn't want to do business with me. No, he's a great guy, so, that's a great thing. And I feel proud of that when a customer gets to the point where they just don't need to use my services anymore. But then there's other companies that I wouldn't think that they need my services, but they still do because they see it as part of their business plan.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, is there anything else that you thought that we should have gotten to during the main thing that you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered it. I think the important things were covered about, when we talked about how is our industry, what's our viewpoint on the current situation?
The health of our industry. Yeah.
And I really am optimistic. Maybe some people disagree with me. I think we're going to be surprised when events come back. I think sooner than later. It might not be stadiums and stuff, but I think that the smaller festivals and smaller venues are going to open up, and it's going to be looser. And God forbid we have another surge of illness, but we have to survive. We have to be industrious, and the economy has to carry on. And part of the economy is entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm standing behind it all the way.
I'm really trying to be positive. You know what I mean? It's hard when you're not. The financial insecurity of this is what everybody is feeling now. It's not even so much that oh my God, I'm worried that I'm going to get COVID. That's maybe not even at the forefront. For us in this industry, it's the financial insecurity of when are we going to get a paycheck again?
Right.
And so I'm glad that you're positive and you have a handle on it in this industry, and it makes me feel better about what's coming. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming. We sure appreciate it.
Totally appreciate it. I'm really happy to be a part of this. I watch it every. I couldn't watch it last week. I missed it. On Friday.
Well, we moved. We had to move it last week, so
That's why. Yeah, we had to move to Friday.
Yeah, moved to Friday. But
I'll have to go back and watch it.
All right. Well, from Tater and myself,
thanks
fun
for
coming, man. Thank you.
I think James next week is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch that. I'm popping some popcorn, maybe grab a bourbon, have a few laughs, because I think that's going to be a good one.
James is always a good time for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right,
man. Thanks a lot for coming. Talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you guys.